Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, digital services fully restored across the country after vandals cut fiber cables.
And Digicel and Flow both condemn the deliberate acts of vandalism that resulted in widespread service disruptions across the country today.
Juror absence delays start of the Mario Dean case in the Westmoreland Circuit Court.
JUTC's anti-fuel theft mechanisms save over $31 million.
The savings between February at 93,000 and the highest, which was 250,000 litres, is a savings of $31,394,000.
Business leaders and economists warn that the escalating trade tensions between the United States and key allies could cause a fallout in Jamaica.
In news from the rest of the world, the Bahamas government is defending its $58 million travel spend since 2021.
The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hits out at Trump's dumb tariffs.
In headline sports, local football referees end 3-day strike and will resume duties on Wednesday.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the long overdue Mario Dean trial, which has been nearly a decade in the making, faced yet another delay on Tuesday after a juror failed to show at court. We'll hear from Dean's mother, Mercia Fraser, and JFJ's policy research and advocacy manager Jade Williams.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, the opposition leader says media have been bought out by the JLP. Do you believe him? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the long-standing issue of fuel theft at the JUTC has been disrupted.
The savings between February at 93,000 and the highest, which was 250,000 litres, is a savings to JUTC $31,394,000.
Minister Vaz will join us.
At 7, in a press conference on Tuesday, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau slammed Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on the North American country, calling it a very dumb thing to do.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, March 4, 2025.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-through, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Telecommunications company Digicel says service has been fully restored to its customers following major disruptions today. The disruption was caused by multiple major fiber breaks after vandals cut through the cables. As a result, thousands of Digicel customers were left without service, impacting both home and business services. Digicel says affected customers will receive rebates as compensation for the disruption. Meanwhile, there were also disruptions to mobile services today for customers of telecommunications provider Flow. In a post on its social media pages, Flow said it was aware that some of its customers were experiencing difficulties with accessing landline, internet, and cable services. Flow says this is as a result of a fiber cut by vandals. The company noted the disruptions were mostly being experienced in Mandeville. The company says its technical team is working to restore service to affected customers.
Meanwhile, in a rare show of unity, Digicel and Flow, Jamaica's two largest telecommunications providers have jointly condemned the deliberate acts of vandalism that resulted in widespread disruptions across the country on Tuesday. In a joint statement, the pair stressed that attacks on critical infrastructure not only disrupt their operations, but also pose significant threats to the productivity, safety, and economic well-being of the nation. Vice President and General Manager of Flow Jamaica, Stephen Price, says the nation has reached a critical juncture to work collaboratively in defending the country and its citizens from such senseless attacks. Echoing this sentiment, Digicel's CEO, Stephen Murad, expressed his deep concern over the attack. He says he's deeply disturbed by the recent vandalism disrupting telecommunications services. He adds that such actions are reckless and harmful to nation building, affecting both Digicel and Flow customers across the country. The joint condemnation marks a significant moment in Jamaica's telecommunications industry as the two largest providers set aside competition to address a common threat.
In other news now, the long overdue Mario Dean trial, which has been nearly a decade in the making, faced yet another delay today. This after one juror failed to turn up at court for the trial. Dana Davy tells us more.
The highly anticipated trial was scheduled to begin at 10 this morning at the Westmoreland Circuit Court. This after languishing for nearly a decade. Mario Dean died on August 6, 2014, after being beaten at the Barnett Street Police Station in Montego Bay, St. James. 3 members of the constabulary are on trial for his death. The case was previously listed before the St. James Circuit Court, but was transferred due to severe difficulties empaneling a jury. A 7-member jury was finally empaneled in the Westmoreland Circuit Court just yesterday for the trial to get underway today. But after 2 hours of waiting, Supreme Court Judge Justice Courtney Day announced the absence of the juror. The missing juror had reportedly left home this morning but never made it to court. Further inquiries revealed that she had also left her phone at home, making it difficult to determine her whereabouts. Transportation difficulties from her location were cited as a possible reason for her absence. With no clear answer in sight, Justice Day ruled that the trial could not proceed and adjourned the case until Thursday. Making it clear that the delay does not spell doom for the trial, he outlined possible solutions, including empaneling an alternate juror. However, he stressed that decision could not be taken at this time. The case centers on 3 police officers, Corporal Elaine Stewart, Constable Juliana Clevon, and Constable Marlon Grant. The 3 are facing charges of manslaughter, perverting the course of justice, and misconduct in a public office. Mario Dean was arrested on August 3, 2014 for possession of a ganja spliff and detained at the Barnett Street Police Station in St. James. What should have been a minor infraction turned into a nightmare when Dean was viciously beaten while in custody. He suffered brain injuries that left him in a coma. 3 days later, he died at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. Allegations against the officers suggest that they were on duty at the time of the attack. It's alleged that Corporal Stewart ordered the cell to be cleaned before investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, arrived on the scene. Dana Davy for Nationwide News.
Over $31 million. That's the amount saved by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, in its efforts to disrupt the long-standing issue of fuel theft at the state-owned bus company. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz gave the update at a media briefing on Tuesday at the Halfway Tree Transport Center.
Let us look at some comparative data of the diesel take on at the JUTC. November 2024, 7 tanker loads, 219,254 liters. December 2024, 8 tanker loads, 250,570 liters. January 25, 7 tanker loads, 219,254 liters. And February, 3 tanker loads, 93,600 liters. The savings between February at 93,000 and the highest, which was 250,000 liters, is a savings to JUTC and by extension the taxpayers of Jamaica of $31,394,000.
Last month, a JUTC driver was charged with larceny after he was caught stealing nearly 300 liters of fuel from the company. Minister Vaz says disruptive efforts included intelligence gathering, new and strict bus dispatch procedures, 24-hour police deployment on the depot, and ongoing operational collaboration with the police. He notes that the value of diesel stolen at the JUTC's Spanish Town depot alone amounts to more than $26 million. Minister Vaz says joint operations resulted in a substantial drop in fuel theft at the depot in February.
The estimated market value of stolen ultra-low sulfur diesel, ULSD, from the Spanish Town depot is as high as $26,845,600 per month. If sustained for 12 months, the cost of fuel theft to the taxpayers would amount to an alarming $322,147,200. To cauterize the illegal activity, in January, the JUTC executed joint operations with the Spanish Town Police, which resulted in multiple seizures of stolen diesel oil and made significant arrests.
Darrell Vaz, Transport Minister.
The Foreign Affairs Minister, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says regional governments are seeking clarity on the United States' Cuba-related visa restrictions policy. She was speaking at the post-cabinet media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister this morning.
Jamaica's had quite a long history of participation in the Cuban Medical Cooperation Program, and in fact that's replicated throughout the Caribbean. So this statement was received with some concern. We have been reaching out to get more information, to get greater clarity. I don't think I would be incorrect in saying that all of the members of the COFCOR have reached out to their U.S. counterparts or their U.S. contacts at different levels, as I have. I believe we anticipate some more information to come, greater clarity as to what is anticipated.
According to the U.S. State Department, the new policy will impose visa restrictions not only on Cuban officials but also on those countries the U.S. government believes use Cuba's labor export program. This widening of the restrictions has raised concerns across CARICOM, particularly in countries that rely on Cuban medical professionals to supplement their healthcare systems. That includes Jamaica. Minister Johnson-Smith says CARICOM is actively engaging with U.S. embassies across the region.
The Jamaican government is also examining the operation of our system. We have over 400 participants from the Cuban medical program at different levels, doctors, nurses, biomedical engineers, technicians. So their presence here is of importance to our healthcare system. So as soon as we get more information, there is an engagement planned in short order with the CARICOM foreign ministers, the members of the COFCOR. Also, I think are anticipating that the U.S. embassies across the region will get additional formal information, and at that time we should be better able to navigate the potential impact and the way forward.
Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 13 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
I saw something suspicious at work the other day and decided to speak out. I was afraid at first, but did it because corruption must stop. They never too liked the idea and even threatened to fire me. But I believe it's my duty to speak out against these things. Be a whistleblower and help eliminate corruption. Call the Integrity Commission at 876-968-6227 or email cpd@integrity.gov.jm.
A message from the Integrity Commission, United Against Corruption.
Continuing the news, Local business leaders and economists are warning of a potential fallout from escalating trade tensions between the United States and key countries. The caution comes after U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday increased tariffs on goods from 3 of its major trading partners. These are China, Canada, and Mexico. Economist Dr. Damian King, president of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Metri-Siaga, and president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, Philip Ramson, all warn of the domino effect this could have on the local economy. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Making good on previous threats, President Donald Trump on Monday announced a 25% tariff on specific goods coming from Canada and Mexico. This was coupled with a 10% levy on Chinese goods. The U.S. president threatened the countries with further increases if they sought to retaliate. Not to be cowed, China has already responded with tariffs on U.S. goods, along with Canada. It's unclear if Mexico will follow suit. A tariff is a tax imposed by one country on the goods and services imported from another. It is paid by the importer of the imposing country. This increased cost is then often passed on to their customers. This inevitably leads to a rise in consumer prices. The escalating trade war has already sent shockwaves throughout global markets. Economist Dr. Damian King is warning Jamaicans they will not be immune from the tariffs.
When the Americans start imposing these high tariffs on Canada and on Mexico and on China, even if those countries don't retaliate because of the importance of the U.S. to world trade, that is going to cause a contraction of world trade. And as I said, because so much of the world's prosperity has depended upon the growth of international trade, it means that you are going to get a contraction of the global economy, and then that's going to affect all countries, including Jamaica. So whether or not the United States imposes high import duties on Jamaica's export, even if that doesn't happen, Jamaica being a small, open economy that is highly dependent on imports and exports, any contraction of the global economy is therefore going to affect the local economy.
JCC President Philip Ramson is of a similar view.
I think it's a domino effect. I think you're absolutely correct. I think tourism is going to have an effect. I think that it all comes down to the cost of living. Tariffs mean that you're going to add 20% on top of the goods when they're landed, which just means they're more expensive for the consumer. So I think from that standpoint, just cost of living. Our goods going over there may not have any tariff on it, but their ability to spend money as an American or a Canadian is going to be affected, which means they look at what vacations, they look at what they can afford to.
The erratic and often unpredictable actions of the Trump administration have also given local state economic planners pause. The Planning Institute of Jamaica has adopted a wait-and-see approach, unable to properly assess how these policies will impact their growth projections. Similarly, the Bank of Jamaica has halted its interest rate adjustments as it re-evaluates the inflationary fallout of U.S. tariff policies. However, PSOJ President Metri-Siaga is of a different mindset. He sees the rising tariffs as a potential opportunity.
I don't expect that the Trump administration is going to be looking at putting duties on products coming from Jamaica. So with that said, I see it as an opportunity, actually, for local manufacturers to start to manufacture product and send into the U.S. markets that we currently did not before. So right now, we have a 25% advantage over Mexico and a 20% advantage over China. And as the tariffs go up weekly, we'll see what happens.
Only time will tell how Jamaica will fare in the new realities shaped by President Trump. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Dancehall entertainer Squash appears to have stumbled into an ongoing Federal Bureau of Investigation's FBI probe before his firearm arrest in Florida last month. Nationwide News has seen a copy of Squash's arrest report where he and another man were picked up by police after the entertainer was allegedly seen taking possession of a firearm. William Mitchell has been reading the report.
They say art imitates life. Dancehall entertainer Andre Maurice Whitaker, known to most of us as Squash, appears to be living proof.
So me cook wire like Gordon Ramsay, chip clack cake with a pancake.
On February 24, Squash was arrested in Miami, Florida, and charged with possession of a firearm and carrying a concealed weapon without a permit. Nationwide can now reveal the details of Squash's arrest. Reports are at 10:58 that Monday night, Squash was stopped by police in the 100 block of 41st Street in Miami Beach for a traffic violation. The entertainer and the man identified as 24-year-old Zidane George Prescott were signaled to pull over their grey Mercedes-Benz car. The police say while approaching the car, Squash, who was the passenger, was observed reaching for his waistband and placing a black object in the glove box. According to detectives, Prescott was driving with a suspended license. When questioned, he said there were no weapons in the car and consented to a search. The police say they immediately went to the passenger side glove box and a gun was found. The gun, a Glock 19, was modified with an InvisiSwitch plate designed to make the weapon fire automatically. The modification turned the gun into what is popularly referred to as a chip Glock. The police say the gun fits perfectly into a holster found on Squash's waist. A further search of the car revealed a Glock 35 40 caliber gun with an extended magazine under the driver's seat. The police say that gun was not securely fastened and readily accessible for immediate use. The police also found 3 loaded magazines, one in the driver's side door, one in the center console, and one in the trunk. Both men were arrested and charged. The police note that Squash does not have legal status in the United States and is already before the court, awaiting a separate immigration hearing. For the traffic stop, Squash was not in the wrong place at the wrong time. According to the arrest report, Squash was seen by an FBI agent being handed what's believed to be the same Glock pistol found in the car by a person that was under FBI observation. The FBI then called local police, who went on to arrest Squash and Prescott. It's unclear if Squash remains in custody. According to court files, the entertainer paid a $2,500 bond on Monday. However, there's no indication the bond negates the immigration hold that's placed on the St. James native. He returns to court on March 26 at 9:15 a.m. William Mitchell for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Chairman of the governing Progressive Liberal Party, PLP, in the Bahamas, Fred Mitchell, says criticism from the opposition Free National Movement, FNM, about the government's increased travel budget is nonsense. The issue of government travel reignited after it was revealed that the Philip Davis administration reallocated $3.6 million from other line items in its 2024-2025 budget to travel and subsistence across all the government's agencies, departments, and ministries. Data shows that the PLP government, which took office in September 2021, spent $58 million on travel in the first 3.5 years of its term. This is compared to the $38.6 million spent during the Hubert Minnis administration's 4.5 years in office. Between July and December 2024, the PLP spent $10 million on travel. The Shadow Minister of Finance, Kwasi Thompson, has criticized the PLP's government's travel spending. He has also called on the Finance Ministry to say why it reallocated travel money for support of Prime Minister Davis's travel. But Chairman Mitchell says the opposition Free National Movement should stop what he calls puerile nonsense about travel.
The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has slammed Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on the North American country, calling it a very dumb thing to do. In a press conference today, Trudeau vowed to conduct a relentless fight to protect Canada's economy. The Canadian Prime Minister accused the U.S. President of planning a total collapse of Canada's economy as it will make it easier to annex. Trump has imposed 25% tariffs on products entering the United States from Canada and Mexico and has increased a levy on goods coming from China. The Canadian Prime Minister announced retaliatory tariffs on U.S. exports and warned that a trade war could be costly for both countries. He said Canada's main goal remains to get the tariffs lifted. President Trump says he's protecting U.S. jobs and manufacturing and trying to prevent illegal migration and drug trafficking. Donald Trump says his goal is to clamp down on the powerful opioid fentanyl and has blamed other countries for the drug's arrival into the United States.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. Digicel services fully restored across the country after vandals struck this morning.
And Digicel and Flow both condemned the deliberate acts of vandalism that resulted in widespread disruptions today.
Juror absence delays the start of the Mario Dean case in the Westmoreland Circuit Court.
JUTC's anti-theft mechanisms save over $31 million.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-through, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, not left foot. It's a big deal.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC Big Deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The strike action taken by local football referees has ended after 3 days. The matter was finally resolved today, following 2 days of negotiation between the Jamaica Football Federation, Professional Football Jamaica Limited, and the Jamaica Football Referees Association. In a release this afternoon, the PFJL says the referees will resume duties on Wednesday, that's tomorrow, starting with the scheduled Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League game between Malines United and Vere at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex starting at 3:30. 5 more games are also on the schedule for match day 28 on Thursday. The referees failed to show up for games in the Premier League on Sunday because of monies owed to them from as far back as last November. They vowed to stay off the job until they are paid in full. The referees were owed $7.8 million. Nationwide Sports understands that $5 million of that amount was paid over late Tuesday night and $1.9 million was deposited by midday today. Peter Prendergast, who acted for the referees, says the outstanding amount, all of it, has been paid. However, there's an advance payment of $1.2 million based on arrangements is still outstanding, and that will be paid next week. Valdin Legister is president of the Jamaica Football Referees Association, and he told Nationwide Sports today that the referees are ready to work once they're compensated and given the tools.
I am very happy because for me, at the end of the day, football must be the winner. Football must be the winner. Once the monies are paid over, the referees are ready and willing to go. It's a situation where if the referees have the resources, they would have gone to the game. But it's just that they don't have the resources. But once the monies are paid over and the referee have the resources, then the games will be serviced.
Valdin Legister, president of the Jamaica Football Referees Association. Jamaican international Leon Bailey scored his first ever goal in the European Champions League today. Aston Villa beat Club Brugge by 3-1 in the first leg of their round of 16 clash in Belgium. Bailey scored in the 4th minute to become only the 4th Jamaican international to score in the Champions League behind Wes Morgan for Leicester City in 2017 at the round of 16 stage. Ronaldo Cephas for Hashkupi at the preliminary stage in 2022 and Ronaldo Aarons for Sulke in 2024 at the preliminary stage. Fellow English side Arsenal captured the headline on the day with a stunning stunning 7-star performance after seeing off PSV Eindhoven 7-1 in the Netherlands with captain Martin Ødegaard scoring twice. It was Arsenal's biggest Champions League win in history in an away game. Champions Real Madrid stopped the city rivals Atletico by 2-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu with goals from Rodrigo and Brahim Diaz, while French side Lille got a very crucial 1-1 draw away to Borussia Dortmund. The second legs in these ties will be played next week. President of Cricket West Indies Dr. Kishore Shallow will be returned on March 29 to serve a second term at the helm of the regional governing body after he was nominated unopposed ahead of the next annual general meeting and voting Congress. Dr. Shallow was nominated by the Trinidad and Tobago and Leeward Islands cricket boards. This marks the second time Dr. Shallow has been nominated for the post unopposed. Dr. Shallow's vice president Asim Basarat will also return for another term. He too was nominated unopposed after securing the backing of the Jamaica and Windward Islands cricket boards. The pair will become the first to serve a 3-year term in charge, and it follows the approval of a landmark set of governance reforms aimed at modernizing the organization. The reforms were approved at a special meeting of members of Cricket West Indies Inc. on Sunday, February 9, 2025. Among the most significant changes was the introduction of term limits for the positions of president and vice president, restricting them to a maximum of 3 terms of 3 years each. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you. The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:31.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Brother, the government has sell them shares in a Trans-Jamaican highway, you know?
Yeah, man, have them big money there.
Nah, man, all you need is at least $3,600. You can
On the road. Trans-Jamaican Highway offer for sale opens March 4 and closes March 18, 2025. Visit NCB Capital Markets Limited Go IPO website at goipo.jncb.com or JMMB Moneyline to apply for shares. Conditions apply. Investing involves risks. Please review the prospectus and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions.
Valley, we a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3 piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Bro, get that one big deal, stop stress me. All of me dip on the toilet, now left foot. It's a big deal.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Are you ready to make your business export ready? Register for the MSME Business Roadshow on March 6, 2025 at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Business Roadshow. Join Jamaica's Business Ministry to access MSME support and tap into government incentives and financing opportunities. You can also win up to $400,000 in business cash grants. Take this opportunity to start, innovate, export, and grow your business. So come to the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz on Thursday, March 6th, or tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the MSME Business Roadshow. Register today at roadshow.miic.gov.jm. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. The MSME Business Roadshow is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's Business Ministry, and the Inter-American Development Bank.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path, unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here at Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Cliff.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Well, in our cover story this afternoon, the long overdue Mario Dean trial, which has been nearly a decade in the making, today, Tuesday, faced another delay. This after one of the jurors failed to turn up at the court for the trial. Dana Davey reports.
The highly anticipated trial was scheduled to begin at 10 this morning at the Westmoreland Circuit Court. This after languishing for nearly a decade. Mario Dean died on August 6, 2014, after being beaten at the Barnett Street Police Station in Montego Bay, St. James. 3 members of the constabulary are on trial for his death. The case was previously listed before the St. James Circuit Court, but was transferred due to severe difficulties empaneling a jury. A 7-member jury was finally empaneled in the Westmoreland Circuit Court just yesterday for the trial to get underway today. But after 2 hours of waiting, Supreme Court Judge Justice Courtney Day announced the absence of the juror. The missing juror had reportedly left home this morning but never made it to court. Further inquiries revealed that she had also left her phone at home, making it difficult to determine her whereabouts. Transportation difficulties from her location were cited as a possible reason for her absence. With no clear answer in sight, Justice Day ruled that the trial could not proceed and adjourned the case until Thursday. Making it clear that the delay does not spell doom for the trial, he outlined possible solutions, including empaneling an alternate juror. However, he stressed that decision could not be taken at this time. The case centers on 3 police officers, Corporal Elaine Stewart, Constable Juliana Clevon, and Constable Marlon Grant. The 3 are facing charges of manslaughter, perverting the course of justice, and misconduct in a public office. Mario Dean was arrested on August 3, 2014, for possession of a ganja spliff and detained at the Barnett Street Police Station in St. James. What should have been a minor infraction turned into a nightmare when Dean was viciously beaten while in custody. He suffered brain injuries that left him in a coma. 3 days later, he died at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. Allegations against the officers suggest that they were on duty at the time of the attack. It's alleged that Corporal Stewart ordered the cell to be cleaned before investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, arrived on the scene. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Dana. Joining us now to discuss Mario Dean's mother, Mercia Fraser, and the Policy Research and Advocacy Manager at Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, Jade Williams. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us. Jade, let me start with you. So are we expecting that the trial will get underway come Thursday?
Well, we are certainly hopeful. From what we heard from Justice Day, with the issue with the missing juror, there is a possibility that the juror will show up as expected on Thursday and the trial can proceed. So we are hopeful that that is the course of action that will happen.
And the option of impaneling an alternate juror, that still remains on the table?
Well, I think the justice was cautious in doing so at this time to mitigate unnecessarily impaneling a new juror. I think if they were able to somehow contact this missing juror today and ascertain exactly what was the challenge, then the justice would have been able to make a more concrete decision as it relates to impaneling a new juror. But I'm certain, I am hopeful that between the end of today and Thursday, the court would have been able to make contact with the juror and determine exactly what the challenges were. And if those are challenges that can't be overcome, then surely Mr. Justice Day would impanel a new juror.
Ms. Fraser?
Sir?
Good afternoon again. Were you in court today? Were you there?
Yes, I was.
And how did you feel at the end of the day and to learn that yet again it has been delayed?
Oh man, that was like a shock because after yesterday and everything's been hopeful going on today. So I went to court this morning hopeful that yes, we're moving on, and then to heard that the juror did not turn up. I mean, I don't know how I didn't burst into tears because, it just burst my bubbles. But as 10 years have gone and I wait 10 years, I'm praying, I'm hoping that the juror will turn up, and I'm praying that it's not anything bad happen, and that she will turn up on Thursday.
Yeah.
Ms. Fraser, 10 years. What have these 10 years been like for you? Explain to the Jamaican people what it's been like waiting for so long for justice for your son.
Stifling. It's stifling. Like moments like these that going to court, you still have to review what happened, and even having what's her name, just reviewing what happened, and that it's not pretty, it's not nice to keep hearing it over and over. And that is why I'm seeking closure so that I can move on from there, because every time you keep repeating the same thing, it's like adding blow upon blow, hurting up a sore more and more. And for 10 years, just keep thinking each time I go into court, I repeat. And even each time I talk to you guys, and you have to mention it all over again, how it must have feel, And so when it happened yesterday, when I finally see jurors, you don't know how good I feel inside. Say, yes, it seems like closure coming. And then to hear what happened today, then it's another shock,
Do you live in Westmoreland, Miss Fraser?
No, I live in Hanover.
Oh, how long is the journey to the court?
All right, it's about a little over an hour.
Oh.
From where I am.
And do you work? How does it interrupt your work?
I am self-employed, but when I don't work, I don't get paid, and I have to spend money back and forth. So you know how that is.
Yeah. And Thursday again, you'll be there.
I will be there.
Jade, I mean, it's been said before, but this has to be considered a serious failure of the justice system, doesn't it?
Well, certainly the length of time that it has taken for us to get to this particular point is something that must be examined as we look at the administration of justice in Jamaica generally. These charges were laid in 2014. The trial has been scheduled over and over and over again. And we've seen varying issues that have arisen that have caused delays. Some of them have been in relation to availability of witnesses, fitness of witnesses, readiness of the prosecution, availability of the defense. So, and then, of course, the most recent issue with the jury, which was an issue that had been going on for quite some time. It was something that JFJ would have inquired into with the registrar of the Supreme Court, with at the time, the commanding officer of the St. James Division, who would have been overseeing the delivery of the summons, following up on the opinions that the court would have made, because we would have seen where, for example, 500 summons are sent out, 23 are served. The judge asked for a special task force. The task force is not created. So we would have seen those challenges that have really raised some concerns about how we administer justice in these cases. So it's definitely something that we should be looking at with more scrutiny. But we were certainly gratified when the change of forum was accepted. It was something that we were advocating for quite a bit. Our advocacy was focused on the home circuit court because we are accustomed to seeing results there in terms of the empaneling of juries. But we were grateful to see that at least this change of forum to Westmoreland saw us getting to this point of empaneling the jury. So yes, it as Ms. Fraser said, it was a little bit disheartening to see the news today. Unfortunately, I could not be there in person, but another member of the JFJ team was there to represent. We were disheartened to see that we weren't able to immediately start hearing evidence as was anticipated. But I'm certainly hoping that, as Justice Day would have indicated, this is not a mark to an even further delay that will not see the case adjudicated in the time expected. We're hoping that this is a minor issue that we can overcome fairly quickly on Thursday.
Hold it there for us. We're going to take a break and come back with Jade Williams of JFJ and Mario Dean's mother, Mercia Fraser.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:46.
Revamp your space with unique living, sleek fixed and sliding shower panels, shower systems and faucets, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, basins and kitchen sinks, closet and storage solutions, hanging aids, and more. Available in different finishes and sizes to match your style. Transform your space and visit us today at shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call us at 876-755-3661 or visit our website at uniquelivingja.com to shop.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see what we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left feet.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Brother, the government has sell them shares in a Trans-Jamaican highway, you know?
Yeah, man, have them big money there.
Nah, man, all you need is at least $3,600. You can
On the road. Trans-Jamaican Highway offer for sale opens March 4 and closes March 18, 2025. Visit NCB Capital Markets Limited Go IPO website at goipo.jncb.com or JMMB Moneyline to apply for shares. Conditions apply. Investing involves risks. Please review the prospectus and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. Another delay again in the long overdue Mario Dean matter. The matter came up for mention today in the Westmoreland Circuit Court, but the absence of a juror forced another delay. They're hoping to get the trial underway finally come Thursday. We have with us Mario Dean's mother, Mercia Fraser, and the Policy, Research and Advocacy Manager at Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, Jade Williams. Jade, I want to focus your attention on this matter of juries, because it's a conversation that's ongoing. The Chief Justice has made known his position, but there are some who push back to say it must be maintained. But clearly the justice system has a challenge, whether it be serving the summons or even getting people to be interested in service. From JFJ's perspective, what are some of the things that can be done, you think, to improve trial by jury in Jamaica?
Well, I know that one of the challenges that the citizens who are expected to serve on juries have is the losses that they sustain when they have to serve on a jury. We know that there continues to be some tension with some employers, even though it is a legislative mandate for persons to be able to fulfill their civic duty serving on a jury. There has been some challenges with employers in making those persons available when they should be available. There have been, of course, some challenges with expense. There is some provisions in the Jury Act that provide financial support for persons who are expected to be jurors for their traveling and so on. But one of the challenges that JFJ has been highlighting is if you are not empaneled for a jury, then your coming to be empaneled is not necessarily financially supported. Mm-hmm. So persons are less inclined to appear because they are expecting that kind of financial loss coming out of that. So I think looking at those schemes that we have in the Jury Act in terms of the support that jurors may receive is something that we could consider to improve their appearance. What we can also look at is simple civic education. I think a lot of persons are unaware of the importance of being on a jury, of why we have had this long-standing jurisprudential system set up in multiple jurisdictions. I think being able to understand the benefits to jurisprudence and to the administration of justice would assist persons in feeling not only greater pride, but interest in participating in the jury process. And I think finally, one of the things we can look at is if we are from the side of the persons who serve summonses are adhering to those provisions that are under the Jury Act. Of course, we have provisions that can be used where jurors do not respond to the summons. So if the summons are served within the requisite time, I believe it. I don't want to give you an incorrect time period. I think it is 2 weeks, but I will double check before we end the interview. But once it is that those summons are served in that time, where the juror does not respond, does not show up, then there are mechanisms under the Act for fining those persons or for other kinds of response from the state to ensure that it is a deterrent to not respond to your jury summons. So I think those are some of the things we can look at in the immediate at responding to these challenges. But JFJ's position will remain that jury trials should continue. We believe that they are an important part of our jurisprudential process.
Ms. Fraser, are you there?
Yes, I am.
A lot of Jamaicans know the name Mario Dean, but they don't know who Mario was, except that he was at the Barnett Street Police lockup. He was taken into custody for a ganja spliff, and the next thing we know, he was badly beaten, died 3 days later, and this matter has been dragging. Tell us, who was Mario? What was he like?
First of all, he was my only son. I have 2 children, 1 boy, 1 girl. Secondly, Mario is a decent citizen of Jamaica. He smokes, yes. Let me tell you, he's very respectful to elders especially, right? And he went to school in Rashid, then he went to Hard Trust to do data entry, and he was there for a while. And then he went on to decide he wanted to do construction work. He wanted to build houses. Between data entry to when he started to do the building, he did a couple classes. For one, I decided he's not going to sit down home doing nothing. So I sent him to do a catering class. No, he decided he wanted to do a catering class because the office was doing it. After I finished that, I sent him to do a waitering class. And he was like, Mom, you're sending me to do all these classes, and these things is not what I really love. And I said to him that you must be multi-talented, because whenever you go anywhere, you must be able to pick up a job. If you can't even get the right one you want, you must be able to do something. All right. Before he died, he was supposed to enter into hard-to-do carpentry. The day he turned up for to do carpentry, they told him that he must formally dress, but he wore a shirt, a long-sleeve shirt, but with a jeans, and they turned him back that he should come another day. And he didn't get to go another day. He was on his way on a Sunday morning, 3rd of August, to work on a construction site. bring his lunch, his food, whatever he needed, and he had his little stick roller and in his pocket. And he stopped at the transport center by police because they said something bulged at his face. I think it was his phone. And they find the ganja space for him and they took him to Barnett Street. But 8 o'clock in the morning where they were changing shift, and by 12, little after 12, he was in Cornwall Regional Hospital, unconscious.
Within 3 hours of entering the lockup?
Yes, because when he went, I heard it from the police that was guarding him at the hospital that when he came in, they were changing shift. So it was about 8 o'clock in the morning when they were changing shift. At 12 o'clock, he was at the hospital conscious.
And he never made it out?
Never made it.
What's your happiest memory of your son?
You know, there's a couple things, especially when he was a child, you know, you just have some little things he said, and you know, he was always like, want to help me. And one of the things is, that I think the last time he came and visited me, that was, I think, it's April 2014. He spent a couple of days with me, and he was like, you know, Mommy, you know, I'm doing these things because I really want to build a little house for you, you know. And I started to encourage him that you need to go back to NHT and to pay up your NHT so you can go to NHT to get your house. And him, I said, Mommy, but when I'm not working and I can't get to pay it. I said, whenever you cannot get to pay it, come to me. You know, I will be talk about it because he really wanted to give me those, and I was trying to push him and say, all right, we will do it together. But if you go to your paid NHT and pay up, and then we can go from there, you know. And we just talk about all that, and then, yeah, that's it. That was the last time he came, and he spent about 4 days with me, and we were talking about stuff, you know.
So he lived in Montego Bay while you lived in Hanover?
Right. We were living in Montego Bay, but I came to Hanover to live. I left him at the house in Montego Bay.
And his sister, how has she been coping over this last
decade?
decade?
She's taking it much harder than I am because even now I don't discuss it with her. I'm going to court. Maybe if she go online and see it or whatever, but I do not discuss it because I don't like how she take it. She will, you know, she just go into a silent zone whenever it happens, and I just can't take it. So I don't share these moments with her. I don't share them.
Was she the older of the two?
No, the younger.
And if he were alive today, how old would he be?
He would be 42. 42, 41.
Yeah.
10 years, 41.
Yeah. Well, ma'am, I can only hope that you find the continuing courage and fortitude to see through the trial and hope that justice will be served.
And your courage is inspiring. I know many Jamaicans take heart from your courage. You've never given up in fighting for justice for your son.
It's just kind of hard to know that he can't. It's easy to reach a place where he cannot fight for himself, and then we just leave it like that. So being the mother, you know, I'm the one who bore him. I carried 9 months and then all of that. I just have to, you know, have to hold strong.
A mother's undying love. Where's his father?
He's in Kingston.
Yes. Has he been there for you?
In the beginning, but right now he's not doing well. Elton, I tell you the truth, he took it very hard, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, health-wise, he's not really there, so.
Thank you very much, Miss Fraser, for sharing with us, and keep the faith. Yes? Jade Williams of JFJ, thank you very much.
And all the work that you've done on this case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Boy. And, you know, I have to say, I keep wondering, I hope memories are still strong, witnesses still remember clearly, you know, because after...
And available.
And are available. Because after 10 years...
Memory fades.
Yeah. And then you wouldn't want, on a technicality, you hear that you can't go any further.
Yeah. That's a cover story. The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is 6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Norgay Banton. Telecommunications company Digicel says service has been fully restored to its customers following major disruptions on Tuesday. The disruption was caused by multiple major fiber breaks after vandals cut through fiber cables. As a result, thousands of Digicel customers were left without service, impacting both home and business services. Digicel says affected customers will receive rebates as compensation for the disruption. Meanwhile, there were also disruptions to mobile services on Tuesday for customers of telecommunications provider Flow. In a post on its social media pages, Flow said it was aware that some of its customers were experiencing difficulties with accessing landline, internet, and cable services. Flow says this is as a result of fiber cut by vandals. The company noted the disruptions were mostly being experienced in Mandeville. The company says its technical team is working to restore service to affected customers. Meanwhile, in a rare show of unity, Digicel and Flow, Jamaica's two largest telecommunications providers, have jointly condemned the deliberate acts of vandalism that resulted in widespread service disruptions across the country on Tuesday. In a joint statement, the pair stressed that attacks on critical infrastructure not only disrupt their operations, but also pose significant threats to the productivity, safety, and economic well-being of the nation. Vice President and General Manager of Flow Jamaica, Stephen Price, says the nation has reached a critical juncture to work collaboratively in defending the country and its citizens from such senseless acts. Echoing this sentiment, Digicel's CEO, Stephen Murad, expressed his deep concern over the attack. He says he is deeply disturbed by the recent vandalism disrupting telecommunications services. Over $31 million, that's the amount saved by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company in its effort to disrupt the long-standing issue of fuel theft at the state-owned bus company. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz gave the update at a media briefing on Tuesday at the Halfway Tree Transport Centre.
Let us look at some comparative data of the diesel take-on at the JUTC. November 2024, 7 tanker loads, 219,254 litres. December 2024, 8 tanker loads, 250,570 litres. January 25, 7 tanker loads, 219,254 litres. And February, 3 tanker loads, 93,600 litres. The savings between February at 93,000 and the highest, which was 250,000 litres, is a savings to JUTC and by extension the taxpayers of Jamaica of $31,394,000.
Last month, a JUTC driver was charged with larceny after he was caught stealing nearly 300 litres of fuel from the company. Minister Vaz says disruptive efforts included intelligence gathering, new and strict bus dispatch procedures, 24-hour police deployment on the depot, and ongoing operational collaboration with the police. He noted that the value of diesel stolen at the JUTC's Spanish Town depot alone amounts to more than $26 million. Minister Vaz says joint operations resulted in a substantial drop in fuel theft at the depot in February.
The estimated market value of stolen ultra-low sulfur diesel, ULSD, from the Spanish Town depot is as high as $26,845,600 per month. If sustained for 12 months, the cost of fuel theft to the taxpayers would amount to an alarming $322,147,200. To cauterize the illegal activity, in January, the JUTC executed joint operations with the Spanish Town Police, which resulted in multiple seizures of stolen diesel oil and made significant arrests.
Darrell Vaz, Transport Minister. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says regional governments are seeking extra clarity on the United States' Cuba-related visa restrictions policy. She was speaking at the post-cabinet media briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister earlier today.
Jamaica's had quite a long history of participation in the Cuban Medical Cooperation Program, and in fact that's replicated throughout the Caribbean. So this statement was received with some concern. We have been reaching out to get more information, to get greater clarity. I don't think I would be incorrect in saying that all of the members of the COFCOR have reached out to their U.S. counterparts or their U.S. contacts at different levels, as I have. I believe we anticipate some more information to come, greater clarity as to what is anticipated.
According to the State Department, the new policy will impose visa restrictions not only on Cuban officials, but also on those countries the U.S. government believes use Cuba's labor export program. This widening of the restrictions has raised concerns across CARICOM, particularly in countries that rely on Cuban medical professionals to supplement their healthcare systems. This includes Jamaica. Minister Johnson-Smith says CARICOM is actively engaging with the U.S. embassies across the region.
The Jamaican government is also examining the operation of our system. We have over 400 participants from the Cuban medical program at different levels, doctors, nurses, biomedical engineers, technicians. So their presence here is of importance to our healthcare system. So as soon as we get more information, there is an engagement planned in short order with the CARICOM foreign ministers, the members of the COFCOR. Also, I think are anticipating that the U.S. embassies across the region will get additional formal information, and at that time we should be better able to navigate the potential impact and the way forward.
Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Banton Sports is next.
Looking for unique furnishings for your home or apartment? Modern Woodcraft offers custom-built pieces for your bedroom, living and dining room, and entrance tables. Choose your preferred color or supply your own fabric for a personalized touch. We also build custom kitchen and bathroom cupboards as well as house doors. Visit us at our new location, 88 Malines Road, Kingston 10, opposite Sundown Crescent. Call 876-620-7460 or 876-565-2162. Modern Woodcraft, making your home look better for less.
My Mega With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The strike action taken by local football referees has ended after 3 days. The matter was finally resolved today following 2 days of negotiation between the Jamaica Football Federation, Professional Football Jamaica Limited, and the Jamaica Football Referees Association. In a release this afternoon, the PFJL says the referees will return to work on Wednesday, starting with the scheduled Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League encounter between Malines United and Vere at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex, and that game is scheduled to kick off at 3:30. 5 more games are also on the schedule for match day 28 on Thursday. The referees failed to show up for games in the Premier League on Sunday because of monies owed to them from as far back as last November. They vowed to stay off the job until they are paid in full. The referees were owed $7.8 million. Nationwide Sports can confirm that $5 million of that amount was paid over late Tuesday night and $1.9 million was deposited by midday on Wednesday. Peter Prendergast, who acted for the referees, says the outstanding amount has been paid in full. However, there's an advance payment of $1.2 million based on arrangements is still outstanding, and that will be paid next week. Valdin Legister is president of the Jamaica Football Referees Association, and he told Nationwide Sports today that the referees are ready to work once they're compensated and given the tools.
I am very happy because for me, at the end of the day, football must be the winner. Football must be the winner. Once the monies are paid over, the referees are ready and willing to go. It's a situation where if the referees have the resources, they would have gone to the game. But it's just that they don't have the resources. So once the monies are paid over and the referee have the resources, then the games will be serviced.
Valdin Legister, president of the Jamaica Football Referees Association. Jamaican international Leon Bailey scored his first ever goal in the European Champions League today as Aston Villa beat Club Brugge by 3-1 in the first leg of the round of 16 clash in Belgium. Bailey scored in the 4th minute to become only the 4th Jamaican international to score in the Champions League, behind Wes Morgan for Leicester City in 2017 at the round of 16 stage, Ronaldo Cephas for Shkupi at the preliminary stage in 2022, and Ronaldo Aarons for Selhe in 2024 at the preliminary stage. Fellow English side Arsenal captured the headlines on the day with a stunning 7-star performance after seeing off PSV Eindhoven 7-1 in the Netherlands, with captain Martin Ødegaard scoring twice. It was Arsenal's biggest Champions League win in history in an away game. Champions Real Madrid, they stopped city rivals Atletico by 2-1 at the Santiago de Bernabeu with goals from Rodrigo and Brahim Diaz, while French side Lille got a very crucial 1-1 draw away to Borussia Dortmund. The second legs in these ties will be played next week. President of Cricket West Indies Dr. Kishore Shallow will be returned on March 29 to serve a second term at the helm of the regional body after he was nominated unopposed ahead of the next annual general meeting and voting Congress. Dr. Shallow was nominated by the Trinidad and Tobago and Leeward Islands cricket boards. This marks the second time Dr. Shallow has been nominated for the post unopposed. Dr. Shallow's first vice president, that's Asim Basarat, will also return for another term. He too was nominated unopposed after securing the backing of the Jamaica and Windward Islands cricket boards. The pair will become the first to serve a 3-year term in charge, and it follows the approval of a landmark set of governance reforms aimed at modernizing the organization. The reforms were approved at a special meeting of members of Cricket West Indies Inc. on Sunday, February 9, 2025. Among the most significant changes was the introduction of term limits for the positions of a president and vice president, restricting them to a maximum of 3 terms of 3 years each. India beat Australia by 4 wickets in Dubai to book a place in the ICC Champions Trophy final. India set 265 to win, achieved victory at 267 for 6 in 48 overs and 1 ball. Veteran Virat Kohli led the victory charge with 84 of 98 balls, spiced with 5 fours. Shreyas Iyer 45, KL Rahul 42 not out, and Hardik Pandya 28 also contributed well to the chase as Nathan Ellis and Adam Zampa bagged the 2 wickets apiece. Australia had earlier been dismissed for 264 in 49 overs and 3 balls, thanks to Captain Steve Smith, 73, and Alex Carey, who was run out for 61, and Travis Head, 39 at the top of the order. Mohammad Shami, 3 for 34, Ravindra Jadeja, 2 for 40, and Varun Chakravarthi, 2 for 49, took most wickets for India, who will now await the outcome of tomorrow's second semi-final between South Africa and New Zealand to know who they'll play in the championship final on Sunday. Jamaican batter Abigail Bryce was one of the standout performers for the national women's team in their 1-wicket defeat to the Leeward Islands in the West Indies Regional Super 50 encounter at Warner Park yesterday. It was a bittersweet day for the 18-year-old Bryce because while Jamaica lost not only the game but their title as regional Super 50 champions, it was a coming of age of a player who's shown tremendous potential. It was Bryce's first List A half century as she slammed the 72 to help steer Jamaica to a respectable 253 for 9, a total they later failed to defend. However, Bryce announced herself on the regional stage, one that could have been so much better had she not gotten out 28 runs shy of a century.
It's such an amazing feeling. I'm so grateful for this opportunity and I'm so thankful. I decided today I was going to bat and bat and bat and bat. And I just did that and do what I do best, rotating the strike and hit them balls hard.
Bryce put on a partnership of 82 with captain Rashida Williams, who top scored with 86. She said after losing the skipper close to the end, she decided to take up the responsibility of pushing the score along.
It affects a little bit, but I tell myself that I would bat through for the team and get that bonus point and get that score up to 250.
Abigail Bryce, the Jamaicans will face the Windward Islands in their final preliminary round game on Wednesday at Conaree, looking to get into the third place playoff. Trinidad and Tobago leads the standings with 27 points, one ahead of Guyana. Barbados third on 24. At the end of the round on Wednesday, the top 2 teams will play in the final on Friday, and the new champion will be crowned. Former Wimbledon champion and British number 1 Andy Murray will reprise his coaching role with Novak Djokovic at the upcoming Indian Wells tournament and stay with the 24-time major champion for the Miami Open. The 37-year-old Djokovic plans to compete at both ATP Masters events for the first time since 2019. The Indian Wells main draw starts later this week with the Miami Open following on March 19. Djokovic's last competitive outing was a first-round defeat by Italy's Matteo Berrettini at the Qatar Open on February 18 when Murray was not present. Djokovic began working with his longtime rival who retired from playing in August on a trial basis at January's Australian Open. Djokovic reached the Melbourne semi-finals but was forced to retire from his match against the German Alexander Zverev with a hamstring injury. Immediately after this exit, Djokovic said the pair would need to, quote, cool off before discussing the future. 3-time major champion Murray also refused to be drawn. But speaking in Qatar last month, Djokovic said Murray had agreed to continue working with him and suggested they would team up in the US Open in the US without confirming his plan. Finally, in sports at this time, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 51 points to help the Oklahoma City Thunder to a 50th win of the season against the Houston Rockets in the NBA. Gilgeous-Alexander made all 10 of his free throws and also had 7 assists in 137-128 win. It is the 4th time the 26-year-old has scored 50 or more points in a game since January, having never done so before then. The Western Conference leaders have won 13 of their past 15 matches to improve to 50-11 for the season, with no other side in the division having yet won 40 games. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving suffered a knee injury in the Dallas Mavericks' 122-98 defeat by Sacramento Kings. Irving left the court late in the first quarter after landing awkwardly following a drive to the basket. Dallas guard Jaden Hardy was also forced off in the third quarter with a sprained ankle, with the severity of both injuries not yet known. They are the latest injury blows for the Mavericks, who lost Anthony Davis to a groin problem on his debut last month. Davis was involved in the 3-way trade that led to 5-time NBA All-Star Luka Doncic leaving Dallas for Los Angeles. Zach LaVine scored 22 points and DeMar DeRozan 20 in a 4th successive victory for the Kings. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:18.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack and my figure dig the wall. Our Total Tools. Weed whacker figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston, and lot C6 Draxall, St. Anne's Bay. Call us today.
People of Westmoreland, come out to DNY Supermarket in Savlamar. Sunday, March 1st, for the Tasty Beat Easter promotion. The Tasty team will be live with cheese specials, deals, and super discounts. We have the rhythm and the tins for you all Easter. Come out and get your tasty cheese.
Tasty Beat with tasty cheese.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode. We don't call them those, do we? Just edition. Welcome to another edition of Public Opinion here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart. All right, let's get into it, shall we? In a recent meeting with party supporters held in Hartford, Connecticut, that's in the U.S., PNP President Mark Golding lamented that the party's message is not being carried by the media.
We have a very difficult task ahead of us, but if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government now, I don't know what kind of state we're going to be, because we have a corrupt government and a power-hungry government, and they're supported by the elite, and the media is bought out by them too. So it's not an easy road to trod the road that we are treading, comrades. It is not going to be easy to get them out, because, you know, the news, the things that we put out don't get covered. Even today, there's a poll being run right now. I think it was paid for by some business people, a Don Anderson poll. The key metric in any poll is voter intention. Who do you intend to vote for? That's the key metric. Today they published it on a Saturday, which is the lowest sales of any newspaper day, when it shows that the PNP is 5% ahead.
Yeah, so that's Mark Golding, the PNP president. However, president of the Press Association of Jamaica, Dashan Hendricks, says he was baffled at the opposition leader's claim. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday, and he said that there is no evidence to support the claim made by Mr. Golding.
I would find it really and truly egregious if there is any belief among any government or opposition that a media landscape in Jamaica, as diverse as we are, can be bought out. I don't know how you buy out the media in Jamaica. We're too diverse, we're too independent. If you buy one, everybody going to know. If you buy all, everybody going to know. So I understand that. The accusations that the government has bought out the media is among is a pattern that we are seeing in the political landscape, where both not just the opposition, but both major political parties increasingly resorting to undermining the media credibility when coverage doesn't align with their interest.
That's Dashan Hendricks, the president of the Press Association of Jamaica. So who better to bring this debacle to than the people of Jamaica? So we asked the people of Jamaica for today's public opinion. The opposition leader says the media have been bought out by the governing JLP. Do you believe him? Yeah? So let's see if people believe the opposition leader's claims, or if they don't, we're going to start over on Instagram. Now, you see, this is going to be hard, because I don't know if I can read. I don't want to read the ones that name media houses by name, because I'm not trying to catch a suit. But I'm going to try and summarize in a way that keeps to the heart of the comment. Padworthy says, I can't speak to bot, but clearly 2 media houses are heavily biased towards the government. Castro Troy says, yes. Right? Malibu says, no. Sharion Poorman says, yes. What else we have here? Jamaican Till I Die says, everything in Jamaica is for sale and can be compromised for a price. Is Jamaica this, where professionalism plays almost no part in daily life because every man knows a man who can link you up for a smalls? What else do we have here? Robert Gregory Luars says no. What else do we have here? Okay, so this is gonna be the issue with today's one, man, but we keep going on. Fabian Fire says, yes, very much so. Boss Lady 3873 says, no. What do we have on? What do we have here? Jamaican Fun Time on Instagram says, yes. Walshy876 says, yes. So Fly Black King says, fully buyout. Yeah, we keep going on. This person, Rosemary King, names 2 media houses and says they are JLP mouthpieces. We keep going on. Tick Boss 7 says no. Nicole Whitaker 1612 says yes. We keep going on. Starburst Apple says, I don't know about every media, but certainly one. We keep going on. Michael Raffington says, I think that the opposition is misinformed. Godfrey B443 says, yes. Let's see if we can find another one. Sunflower Francis also says, yes, the opposition leader is telling the truth. Maro438 says, yes. So that's what we have so far on Instagram. We're going to keep moving. Over onto X. When we asked the question on X, the opposition leader says the media has been bought out by the JLPD. Believe him. We go over on X and we see General Heinz Guderian. That's a special name we have here. Guderian says, pressure bust pipe. Never thought I would see the day when PNP accused the media of being bought out by the JLP. Bullwinkle says, most if not all media houses tend to have a bias politically. Joy Smith says the opposition is correct. But Terrence J says the opposition is living in denial. We have here Richard Anderson says no. Diva Lady 3 also says no. Wacky Don says yes, the daily evidence is there to see and hear. What do we have here? Do Your Civic Duty says yes. Jerome says no, it's obvious he's crashing out. We keep going. Not because he said so, but it's true, says Songwriting and AI Artwork Test. Clinton Clark says no. And what else do we have here? How many of these can I actually read? Okay, so that's all we have so far on X. If we go over to Facebook, what will we see? It seems to be a pretty... Is it fair to say? Has it been balanced so far? You think it's balanced? Some people saying yes, some people saying no. Well, let's see if Facebook will break the tie. We go over to 96 comments. I don't think I have time to read 96 comments, We start with Lorna Laws. She says, yes, the opposition leader is speaking facts. What else we have here? No, I can't read that one. Ugh. Still looking. Leroy Shaw seemingly believes that the opposition leader is also correct. What else do we have here? That's laughable, says Barbara Bailey. It's nonsense and everybody knows it. Librance Tucker says he is perfectly right. Brian Cameron says, yes, I believe him to an extent. Vivian Hanchard says, absolutely not. Salome Paul says he can't be speaking about the Jamaican media. What else we have? David Batik says, yes, I do believe so. We keep going on, trying to see if we can find any other answer that is readable. Averlyn Beckford says, yes, he is being truthful. Wesley Cunningham JP says, no, this man is confused. Sean McGregor says, absolutely. Yeah. Franklin Dawkins says, of course, it's so obvious. We keep going on. Keep trying to see if there's anything we can read. Anne-Marie Poiser says, yes. Maureen Cunningham says, yes, he is telling the truth. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So I am seeing a couple that disagree, but they're saying things in the disagreement that I just can't read. You know what I'm saying? Smiley Lindburn says, no way. So that's what we have so far on the 3 social media platforms we normally go to for the previous answers, the non-live answers. But let's take a look at the live answers and see how many of these I'll be able to read without catching a case. Enos Barnes says, no, no, no. So that's the first one I see. What else we have here? Joel Foster says the opposition leader is confused. Roger Shippey says no. Oh no. What else we have here? Maxine Anderson saying no, no, no. Betsy Powell says no, no, that's a lie. Elva Barrett says no. George Allwood says no. Angela Jones says no. Joycelyn Bashford says no. Denzel M says nope. Mikkel says no. Where is his hard evidence? Andrew Miller says no, no, no. Do we have here? Ian Williams says yes, some media houses are biased. So I guess that's, there we go. So there's somebody in the YouTube comments agreeing with the opposition leader's claims. We'll keep going, we'll keep going, we'll keep going. Rubbish, says Benny A. What else we have here? Kirk says yes. Cummings says no lie. Keep going, keep going. What are these? Can I read? Motivator says no, not at all. Blanket Prince says, I don't believe. Dwayne Samuels says, nope. SMD says, the media is biased, but towards who? Randy Powell says, no. What else we have here? Marjorie G says, no. Glenroy Clayton says, no. Electro says, no, that's a lie. George Allwood, well, I already read George Allwood. He's saying no once again. Costas Brown says, no, can go so. Strong Link says no. Curtis Latibadir says no. Andrew Last says nonsense. Denzel M listed 2 media houses he believes are biased against the JLP. What else we have here? Michael Bailey says the JLP don't waste money on foolishness. Hell no. What else we have here? Silly Billy Wallace says no. Andrew Last says nonsense. Devin Lawrence says no, no, no. And Sandra Hibbert also says no. Joycelyn joining in the parade saying what can go so. What can go so, says Joycelyn Bashford. Political analyst says show us the evidence. So that's what he's calling for. All right. Nick Nicholson names a station, says they've been bought out a very long time. Tanya Jones says some bias. And then I guess we're seeing an overwhelming no from the YouTube chat. A couple yeses in there. If you looked at some of the previous platforms that we used, a good amount of yeses, a good amount of no's. I think there's probably an overwhelming amount of yeses on Facebook. Then again, those are just the ones I could read without catching a case. So Godfrey Smith says, good day, Mahiri. Nonsense. All right. Banner Bamford says no. All right, folks. I think I see where we're going with this. So I think now would be a good time to end it. But as always, who better to ask a question like this to than the people of Jamaica? And the people of Jamaica have spoken. Now it's time for me to keep speaking, but not on public opinion, but in the form of the Business Report. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned to the Business Report. Let's go.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is...
It's 6:32.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is...
It's 27 degrees Celsius in both Kingston and Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Tuesday called American tariffs, quote, very dumb, end quote, and said that U.S. President Donald Trump is appeasing Russia while launching a trade war against Canada. In a blunt news conference during his final days in office, Trudeau said that Canada would plaster retaliatory tariffs on more than $100 billion of American goods in response to Trump's 25% tariffs. Trump imposed tariffs against Washington's three biggest trading partners, drawing immediate retaliation from Mexico, Canada, and China, and sending financial markets into a tailspin. Just after midnight, Trump put 25% tariffs on Mexican and Canadian imports, though he limited the levy to 10% on Canadian energy. Later Tuesday, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the U.S. would likely meet Canada and Mexico in the middle, with an announcement coming as soon as Wednesday. Lutnick told Fox Business News that the tariffs would not be paused, but that Trump would reach a compromise. In a post on Truth Social earlier Tuesday, Trump said, quote, "Please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount," end quote. Apple is taking legal action to try and overturn a demand made by the UK government to view its customers' private data if required. The BBC understands that the US technology giant has appealed to the Investigatory Powers Tribunal, an independent court with the power to investigate claims against the security service. It's the latest development in an unprecedented row between one of the world's biggest tech firms and the UK government over data privacy. In January, Apple was issued with a secret order by the Home Office to share encrypted data belonging to Apple users around the world with UK law enforcement in the event of a potential national security threat. Data protected by Apple's standard level of encryption is still accessible by the company if a warrant is issued, but the firm cannot view or share data encrypted using its toughest privacy tool, Advanced Data Protection, ADP. ADP is an opt-in feature and is not known how many people use it. Last week, Apple chose to remove ADP from the UK market rather than comply with the notice, which would involve creating a backdoor in the tool to create access. And finally, in the currency markets, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 77 cents to buy $1 US. It cost 200 Jamaican dollars to buy $1 British pound, and finally it cost 107 Jamaican dollars and 20 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Stay tuned. It's time for the nation's business.
We have all been there. You feel the flu coming on and you want to catch it early before you start feeling horribly sick. But between syrups, rubs, drops, pills, and sprays, it's hard to know what to use for which symptom. Don't worry, when it comes to everything cold and flu, choose Pharmacold and Flu. This little tablet relieves nasal congestion, sore throat, pain, and fever. Get on with your day with Pharmacold and Flu. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3 piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, now left foot. It's a big deal.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC, big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets?
How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
It is said relationships in the professional space can easily become very friendly and formalities can become frolicking fun. How difficult is it to keep the lines clear and the boundaries in place? Seeing each other daily 9 to 5 might make for the majority of time shared between two who are attracted to each other. Why is workplace romance discouraged in departments? Is it because they usually flow over into too much emotional energy and burn the house down? Well, let's hear it. Join me, Rodman Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, work husband and wife, working closely together or too dangerously close to the walk?
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy, super happy, super healthy, Supermed, and Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today. Are you ready to make your business export ready? Register for the MSME Business Roadshow on March 6, 2025 at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Business Roadshow. Join Jamaica's Business Ministry to access MSME support and tap into government incentives and financing opportunities. You can also win up to $400,000 in business cash grants. Take this opportunity to start, innovate, export, and grow your business. So come to the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz on Thursday, March 6th, or tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the MSME Business Roadshow. Register today at roadshow.mic.gov.jm. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. The MSME Business Roadshow is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's Business Ministry, and the Inter-American Development Bank.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
It's electric! Celebrate World Energy Efficiency Day with Nationwide 90 FM on March 6 and 7. Join us as we explore simple ways to save energy, reduce costs, and protect our planet during the E-Zone 3 to 5 p.m. on March 6. Then Nationwide This Morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on March 7. We've got insights and practical advice that can and will help you make a difference. From businesses to households, everyone plays a part in building a sustainable future. When you save money on your energy bill, you also save the planet. Save money, save power, save the future. That's World Energy Efficiency Day during the E-Zone 3 to 5 p.m. on March 6th, then Nationwide This Morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on March 7. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Brought to you by the National Land Agency and the Jamaica Public Service.
Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good evening. I'm Cliff Hughes.
We're turning our attention now to the savings the JUTC has been able to realize after they've clamped down on the theft of fuel. Well, it's over $31 million. And the Transport Minister gave that update at a media briefing today at the Halfway Tree Transport Center.
Let us look at some comparative data of the diesel take on at the JUTC. November 2024, 7 tanker loads, 219,254 liters. December 2024, 8 tanker loads, 250,570 liters. January 25, 7 tanker loads, 219,254 liters. And February, 3 tanker loads, 93,600 liters. The savings between February at 93,000 and the highest, which was 250,000 liters, is a savings to JUTC and by extension the taxpayers of Jamaica of $31,394,000.
Daryl Vaz, the Transport Minister. Last month, a JUTC driver was charged with larceny after he was caught stealing 300 litres of fuel from the company. Minister Vaz says disruptive efforts including intelligence gathering, a new and strict bus dispatch procedure, 24-hour police deployment at the depot, and ongoing operational collaboration with the police are responsible for the new efforts.
He noted that the value of diesel stolen at the JUTC Spanish Town depot alone amounts to more than $26 million. The minister says joint operations resulted in a substantial drop in fuel theft at the depot in February. The minister is with us now. Good evening, Minister Vaz.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, Cliff and Ricardo and your listeners.
All right, we're up on the break because we have a time signal. Let's just take the time signal and come back with Minister Vaz.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now
6:44. We're back with you, Minister Vaz. So today at the media briefing, you made, or the JUTC made, $31 million in savings from the efforts they've been putting in place, the proactive measures. Do they know approximately how much they're losing annually from fuel theft?
You know, Cliff, the truth of the matter is that Owen Ellington recently took over as the acting managing director. He was a board member of JUTC prior, so he had some institutional knowledge. But since he has taken over the helm, you can see that the collaboration with the police and intelligence gathering, etc., has been greatly improved. And it's something that I had committed in one of my earlier press briefings or parliamentary statements. So I don't have that quantified as yet. I think the process of information gathering is still ongoing. But the truth is, for me, the past is a past. I have the responsibility now as a Minister of Transport, and therefore I need to deal with what I need to deal with when I'm at the helm. Mm-hmm. And I think that these numbers that I have outlined today in the press briefing, along with all the other good information on the improvements in JUTC and what is in store for the transport sector.
Mm-hmm. We're going to come to a few of those.
Those good, right. But I'm particularly interested, Minister, the Spanish Town depot, $26 million in losses from fuel theft. Is it that the security at the Spanish Town depot is worse than that which exists at Rockfort and elsewhere?
You'll recall that Spanish Town has always been the problem area, based on location and based on all that happens in Spanish Town with the gangs, etc. You'll recall, obviously, the tragic death of former chairman of JUTC, of blessed memory Douglas Chambers. So that's been a hot spot forever. And when you compare a calculation of 26,845,600 per month, and if that
per
was
month,
if that was sustained for 12 months, which I'm sure that it has been for many years, you'll be talking about one depot, 322,147,200.
Mercy me.
That's a humongous figure for one depot, and of course to the company itself, and of course by extension the taxpayers of Jamaica.
You sure you get that right?
Right,
Minister?
yes, per month, Minister?
$26 million a month?
The brief that I have is $26 million per month. I will double check it because it has been questioned. But again, remember that I gave the data from November to February. And in November, it was 7 tanker loads, 219,254 liters. In December, it rose to a high of 8 tanker loads of 250,000.
That were stolen?
No, that's what we're using.
Oh.
That's what we were using.
Uh-huh.
That's what we were using and taking from our supplier.
Uh-huh.
So in November was 219,000, round figures. December was 250,000. January was 219,000. And in February, we're at 93,600 liters.
Oh, less than a half.
So you talk not the half. If you look at the high month of December of 250,000 liters, and you're down to 93,000 liters.
More than a half.
You're much more than a half. As a matter of fact, that's 160,000 liters less in February than December.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is that I know that it's a fact because the suppliers of the fuel for JUTC, I've seen them socially, and they complain bitterly to me that they can't understand how it is that JUTC is down to these numbers because obviously it affects their bottom line. They're not involved in the skullduggery, but obviously they're business persons, so obviously it means a hard hit on the bottom line because we're only paying for 93,000 as against 250,000 liters at the high point in 1 month.
Yeah. And the briefs you've received, Minister, indicate that there might be some link to the gang activity in Spanish Town?
And that has always been, that I would prefer, I prefer the police to speak to that. That has always been what has been put forward and posited in the previous years. I mean, this is a legacy issue of, I mean, from the Spanish Town depot has been around. So this is not a 1 year or 2 year, this is decades as it relates to the operations and the activities at the depot. And of course, we all know what has happened out there, including death.
Yes.
So it's not an easy feat. And I really want to give credit to the police and to the management of the JUTC and the collaboration because there is 24-hour surveillance and 24-hour activities between JUTC and the police.
How many people do they have now before the courts in relation to the stealing of fuel?
Since I have been there as transport minister, I know of probably about 4 or 5 arrests. And that arrest goes between maybe 1 and 5 people. So I'm not quite sure where those court cases are, etc. But what we are doing is preventing it from having to go to court by preventing the actual act of the theft. And of course, with technology and moving away to the CNG buses, I mentioned today that out of a rollout of 250 buses a day, we have over 50% of those using renewables, using CNG. So we are moving away in terms of the diesel and use of diesel as a policy.
All right, so I know you want to get to the so-called good news that you announced this morning. Let's start with the 170 buses procured for the JUTC. These are the ones coming in June?
So let's go through that now. I took over in May 2023. And when I took over, there were 50 buses ordered. And that transition between Minister Shaw and Minister Montague at the time. So I'm not one of those ministers that take credit for things that are not my doing. So those buses came in, and since I came in, I have procured 20 and 100. So 120 CNG buses, along with the 50, which came in under my tenure, but obviously started before me, is 170. And I'm pleased to announce that I gave a commitment to Jamaica end of last year, that we were in the second tranche of the procurement of another 100 buses, for which I can say today that those buses are in production now and will get to Jamaica by June 2025, which will put me at 270 new buses since I became minister. And out of that 270, 240 would be CNG and 30 would be coach buses, which have to be diesel buses because of the distance that they travel. And that those buses will get here by June of this year, which is a commitment that I made as well. So we will have another 100 buses in the fleet of JUTC, which will allow us to improve on the areas that we are serving now, the routes that we are serving now, and more importantly, we will be able to continue to expand our routes, which of course was another part of my presentation this morning, in relation to the new routes that we are servicing and the amount of passenger load that we are. So we have 14 new routes, and those 14 new routes are averaging about 2,651 passengers that would normally not have access to the JUTC service.
That's St. Thomas, St. Mary, Clarendon, where else?
We have routes that cover specifically new areas of development. So, for argument's sake, Innswood, Bernard Lodge, Old Harbour, Linstead, Yallace to downtown, Morant Bay to downtown, Chapelton to Maypen, Lionel Town to Maypen, Tollgate to Maypen, and all of those, Linstead to Spanish Town, as I said before, all of those, Maypen to Spanish Town, and the recent route that I introduced was halfway tree to Castleton to Grandy Hole. So again, that is also covering areas that were not serviced previously by the JUTC. And all that has been done without interrupting or affecting the improved services on the existing routes.
As an observer looking on, I'm thinking transport, because certainly you're going to have a prime photo op come June when those buses get here. So I'm thinking transport will be an essential plank of your election bid. Am I correct in that observation?
Well, put it this way. What I outlined to you already is sufficient for it to be a part of any national campaign, because transportation is such a critical part of the productivity of a country. What I can say also is the fact is that I know, and you know, that the misery index was at an all-time high in relation to the JUTC and public transportation. And when I got there, it was, my WhatsApp used to blow up every morning and evening of people complaining of the 2 hours and the 2.5 hours and the 3 hours that they're waiting on buses, etc., etc. And I gave a commitment, not last year November, the November before, asking the country to be patient with me. And they have gotten the commitment that I gave, which is to improve significantly the JUTC, and on top of that, the overall transport sector by setting up the steering committee. So let me just say that.
No, Minister, before you go on, because at the outside broadcast we did today, one thing that came through very clearly, scores of commuters are still experiencing some long hour and a half delays on some routes. And what surprised me, several of the commuters online and those who passed through said they are now convinced that it's not due to a shortage of buses, but buses are being diverted and parked when they should be transporting people, so that bus drivers who own taxis can earn a food, eat a food. So then park your bus, government bus, on certain routes at certain times at the time of the day, so that for them food can make.
Well, I tell you something. And the truth of the matter, I would never doubt it. That is something that I'm happy you're raising me, because I had not heard that before.
What is
any information that you can give me in terms of the feedback that you got today? What I can say is that even if that is so, the level of misery that was there, that was in the public domain, on social media, in the news media, etc., has calmed significantly. And I monitor it by virtue of the amount of personal complaints that I get, because my number is well known, and I'm well known to respond to all communication that I receive.
Well, you need to alert your people inside the management and their security operations to check this, because this was a real surprise. A lady left a note for me, and then when I read the note, people online were saying yes. Then several turned up at the OB point and said, yes, you have JUTC drivers who own taxis, and on certain routes, certain times of the day, the buses would go AWOL, and their taxis were running the routes and making the money.
Well, the good thing about that is that's very easy to check, because all of the new buses have a tracking system. So that is an ABC. And the fact of the matter is that there should be a control room that is monitored.
Should be.
And maybe what needs to happen is it needs to be monitored externally and not within the JUTC.
Possibly.
So that is something that I will take on board. But I wanted to say also, Cliff, that I know that there has been a lot of pushback by the taxi PPV operators, for which the buses are now plying those routes that they used to control fully. And I want to make it clear that the JUTC is not in competition with the public passenger vehicle operators. But as a government, we have a responsibility to make sure that reliable, safe, efficient transportation is available, and that the commuters have a choice. Yes? And that is what we are doing. But while we are doing that, the JUTC has released 11 routes that we have converted from Hackney carriage license to route taxi within the Kingston metropolitan region, and we have another 14 that were held by the JUTC who was not servicing them. So what I have gotten is the Transport Authority to write to the JUTC to ask them for a no objection for those routes. So while we are expanding our service, we are also releasing a number of routes that JUTC has had that they have not been servicing sufficiently to allow for the public passenger operators to be able to get 25 new routes within the KMTR, which will allow them to obviously earn and expand their businesses.
Yes,
on top of which, I will be announcing within the next 2 weeks a refleeting by allowing the average age of the PPV operators, the taxis that you see on the road, are 15 years old. And the bottom line is that they need to refleet to be able to offer good, reliable vehicles. And therefore, I have come up with a mechanism that I'm taking to Cabinet to allow for them to benefit directly, not to have to go through a dealer. They will be able to import their vehicles through the taxi associations directly from the suppliers that the dealers buy from, without having to take on an added expense in relation to the dealer markup.
The 5% that you should get from traffic tickets for the public relations campaign, when will you start getting that?
April, this financial year, as Cabinet approved it. And let me just give you the background to that. I think I gave it to you already, but let me just give it to you for those listeners who never heard me. The road safety campaign has to be a sustained campaign, and it has to be a professional campaign. We have got to get into the psyche of the drivers in Jamaica, that every time they get into behind the wheel of a motor vehicle or a motorcycle, they can vividly remember the images of the carnage on the road. Because the bottom line is that what happened before is that the money from traffic fines were split up between the Ministry of Justice, I guess to build a courthouse, the Ministry of National Security to refleet and to improve their police stations, etc., and the Ministry of Finance through the Consolidated Fund. When I became minister and I went to my first National Road Council meeting, and we spoke for hours, the Prime Minister is the chair and I'm the deputy chair. The question that I asked is how do we fund this? And I realized at that point that there was no money allocated, dedicated funds to the Ministry of Transport that has responsibility for the national road safety. So I can say again that the holistic approach is to make sure that we have a dedicated fund, which is 5%, which is probably anywhere between $75 and $150 million a year, based on traffic fines collected, which we can now hire professionals, join with the private sector, and come up with something similar to what private sector companies do to market their product. National road safety is a big issue in Jamaica. And despite the fact that we were down 14% last year, some days the road fatalities equal the murder rate and surpass it, especially in recent days with the reduction in murders. And that is something that's not sustainable. It is a trauma for the families. It is also significant cost to the government in terms of health, hospital beds, all of what goes with that. So again, I'm very happy, and we will be coming up, not with a little pitch patch, $2 million and $3 million program, and it lasts for a month, and you don't see anything. And you see the signs, how many people died last year, and you're seeing signs with 2021, and we're in 2025. We're going to put together a professional campaign that is going to really concentrate on getting into the psyche and the conscience of the drivers on the roads in Jamaica. So it's a tough ministry, I must tell you, very tough ministry. But guess what? We're getting results. We're getting results slowly but surely, and I'm telling you that you said it. We will campaign on our performance and not the propaganda and the misinformation and the personal attacks and the nastiness that is taking place in the political landscape. I am totally against it. I campaign in my constituency on my past performance and my plans, and in my ministry on what my achievements have been and what my plans are going forward. And that's the only way that a civilized country should operate.
Daryl Vaz is a transport minister. Thank you so much for your time.
See you on the bus tomorrow.
It's 6 minutes after 7.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is...
Book says it's 7 minutes after 7.
Fall in love with a new Mazda. From now until March 31, drive away an elegant CX-60, a majestic CX-90, or a nimble CX-5 and get a 2-year service package, 1 year free insurance, free license and registration, plus free window tinting. Conditions apply. Give in to temptation. Visit Executive Motors today. Mazda. Love at first drive.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
It's all about the Trump tariffs in the United States. He has, applied sweeping tariffs. He's set to address the U.S. Congress in just about another hour or so. And the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has slammed those tariffs, calling it a very dumb thing to do. In a press conference today, Trudeau vowed to conduct a relentless fight to protect Canada's economy. The Canadian Prime Minister has accused the US President of seeking to bring about the total collapse of the Canadian economy so that it will be easier to get this, annex Canada. So Trudeau is saying that Trump's tariffs are aimed at weakening Canada so that the US can annex Canada. In other words, take over Canada so that Canada could become, as Mr. Trump has been saying, the 51st state of the United States. He has been very disrespectful to the Canadian Prime Minister, calling him Governor Trudeau, pretending as if Canada is, don't laugh, Jamal, it's serious, is a state of the US. Here's more from the BBC.
As promised, let's talk tariffs for the next few minutes because big developments on that global story today. And in the last 30 minutes, you may have seen the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, announce that they are putting together plans to challenge the US tariffs that have been announced at the World Trade Organization, saying it's a violation of an existing free trade agreement between the countries. President Trump's tariffs on Mexico, on Canada and China came into effect today. The tariffs are 25% taxes on goods from Mexico and Canada and an additional 10% on Chinese products, bringing that total to 20%. The announcement sent US and European stocks sharply down. Well, Canada's Prime Minister, talking at that news conference just a short while ago, slammed the measures as illegal action, saying Canada will keep its tariffs on US goods in place until America remove theirs. And the country was also considering other options.
I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm. From expanding EI benefits and making them more flexible to providing direct supports to businesses, we will be there as needed to help. But Canada, make no mistake, no matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you. We will defend Canadian jobs. We will take measures to prevent predatory behavior that threatens Canadian companies because of the impacts of this trade war, leaving them open to takeovers. We will relentlessly fight to protect our economy. We will stand up for Canadians every single second of every single day because this country is worth fighting for. It's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal. But Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
Well, let's speak to the former chief economist of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Patrick Lowe. And Doctor, welcome to the programme. It's a pleasure to have you on. It looks like we are in for a sustained trade war here, doesn't it?
It really does. I think the word that Prime Minister Trudeau used is apt. The economics of this are really crazy.
He said dumb. In terms of consequences globally, just take our viewers through it in terms of likely consequences here.
Well, I mean, the first impact will be on prices that the United States has to pay in order to import products from Canada, from Mexico and from China. And those are not insignificant amounts of trade. The immediate effect will be to raise consumer prices. Producers in the United States who rely on imports as inputs into their production processes will also be affected. And then, of course, there's a retaliation. There's no doubt whatsoever that there's going to be retaliation. We don't know what Mexico's going to do, but we have a pretty good idea what the Canadians and the Chinese have in mind. And it'll get ugly. I'm not sure how this is going to end, but it's going to be very bad for the economy, the world economy, because these are big players.
And when you get into a spiral like that, it is very difficult to actually get out of it. I was looking at a graphic only, a month or so ago when this was proposed and then paused. But the notion was, if we get into a full global tit-for-tat tariff war, in terms of the impact it has on GDP, global GDP, it was the combined total of France and Germany. I mean, that is staggering, isn't it?
It's huge. It's huge. And clearly there'll be an economic... If this carries on, if they don't settle this quickly, and I don't think the prospects for doing that look great, it's going to hit... It's already hitting stock markets and stock prices. It's going to hit inflation. It's going to hit growth. It's just going to make people poorer. Maybe a few countries will gain a little bit because of shifting trade patterns, but it'll be minor compared to the damage.
Already growth, you mentioned growth already. We're looking at this quarter for the US, and it's having an impact. All the uncertainty of the last 6 weeks playing into a slashing of the forecast for American growth. And of course, we're perhaps just partway down this path, aren't we? Because the EU is in Donald Trump's sights next.
We're going to see what they do to the EU. I think it'll be surprising if they don't do the same thing. But then, of course, it's just going to multiply by several-fold the consequences, because Europe's a big player.
In terms of a way out, I know it's very difficult to try and get inside the mind of the American president, but what do you think he's actually hoping to achieve here?
I'm not sure, honestly, because I do think it's hard to get inside his mind. But from what he's been saying for quite a long time, he thinks that tariffs are a legitimate defense against what he considers to be the systematic exploitation of the United States by all its trading partners. Now, on both counts, it's very hard to understand what he's actually talking about, because clearly these are simply not the realities.
He has said in the past that he wants companies to come back to actually produce in America. That is a pretty simplistic thing to say. How difficult is it to translate into reality?
Well, first of all, that takes quite a lot of time. And secondly, they're going to come into America to do what? To serve as export bases when they have to buy all these inputs at inflated prices? It's really hard to see. He thinks that the United States needs more manufacturing industry, and that's also something that's highly contested. Because if you look at the national accounts of the United States, the vast bulk of the United States earnings, the money, the income comes from services, not from manufacturers. And that's the reality of rich countries.
A quick final thought. We've only got a few seconds left. We said that Canada's Prime Minister is going to challenge what the Americans have done at the World Trade Organization. Has that got any mileage, do you think, briefly?
Sadly, I'm afraid it will not have, because the World Trade Organization is in disrepair to the point where I don't think anything it says or does right now is going to have an impact. Perhaps that'll get better in the future, but right now it's more of a political gesture than a hope for remedial action.
Dr. Patrick Lowe, a really bleak analysis from you, but thank you for your time and your thoughts. We have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us on the programme.
That report there from the BBC. So the US president will address the Congress in a little while. And of course, he says it's must-watch TV. He says it's going to be a big deal. So if you can tune in to see whether he addresses this matter of tariffs. The markets are plummeting, understandably so. Nobody likes a trade war. So we'll look to hear what the American president says. 17 minutes after 7, we take a break, and after the break, it will be time for your calls. The numbers, you know them, 630-9371-4, 618-8255.
It is said relationships in the professional space can easily become very friendly and formalities can become frolicking fun. How difficult is it to keep the lines clear and the boundaries in place? Seeing each other daily 9 to 5 might make for the majority of time shared between two who are attracted to each other. Why is workplace romance discouraged in departments? Is it because they usually flow over into too much emotional energy and burn the house down? Well, let's hear it. Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, work husband and wife, working closely together or too dangerously close to the walk?
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy, Super Happy, Super Healthy, Supermed, and Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Anthony, good evening. You're first. Anthony?
Hey, Ricardo, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yes, man.
Thanks. What's up?
There, Wagon.
Yeah, my dear man, Ricardo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that clip, that with the PNP president at the talking to the persons in Connecticut.
Yes.
I heard you guys highlight what the opposition leader said, and my word, the own goals that he scored. But he being what I would say inexperienced politically. But when I look at the clip, Ricardo, the chairman of the party or the chairperson of the party was sitting right there, endorsing every single word that the leader was saying. So how do you account for that? As yes, Mark Golden would have been inexperienced and stuff and all of that, but I mean the chairperson of the party would have been around long enough to know and to provide that level of guidance for her leader. So I don't know what if we should use that as a milestone. How would we judge where the party is? Did you watch the clip?
I did watch it.
The video? Okay.
Yes, I saw it.
All right. So I don't know. I don't know how much was paid to buy out the Green and Nationwide and all of those stuff.
I can tell you, Nationwide has most decidedly not been bought out. I can tell you that.
It was an interesting comment, and as I said, it's another own goal scored by the People's National Party. Ricardo, one other quick concern I have.
Yes.
And it is with the Portmore issue. I heard the mayor talking about locking down Portmore and stuff. I think it was Sunday. But I also hear what I would endorse as a more sober stance coming from Anthony Hilton, saying that they are planning to go to the courts. Because I am saying, if there's an issue and you don't agree with the process or you think that the process is fraud, then use the court to decide. You know what I'm saying? Use the court to decide. We don't need to incite any violence or put up anybody against each other, because at the end of the day, political party lines are drawn. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Portmore, and he was like saying, boy, the place tense over this issue. You understand what I'm saying? And we really don't need that. We're not forgot on the road here. So I am hoping that good sense will prevail, and if the PNP doesn't agree with the process that has been taken by the governing party, then use the court to decide. Let the court rule and said, okay, whether or not the provision, the route that the government take was right or wrong. I think that's the best route. That's my contribution, my brother.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks much. Cleveland, good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
How are you?
Not bad. Mr. Hughes?
Not here with me, no. You stepped out.
Well. The fake news then catch up on Mr. Golden.
What do you mean?
The way every night this man take over the PNP, they take over both TV station. That is sick you. To see them.
But Mr. Golding said, the media not carrying him.
Media. Huh?
You're saying that him on TV every night, but him said the media not carrying him.
But that no go so.
Oh.
Me I always think to them pay them to bring them on. So every one news item behind one another. Right? And I always have the opinion say I don't understand it. Why do they have most of them news on the PNP? You see? And all this the fake poll, they're catching up on him too. Because he was surprised that Saturday up all day, they're giving such an important result that his party is ahead of the JLP. You know, see something wrong with that, Ricardo?
Mr. Golding seems to think that he's being hard on. He's getting a hard time in the media. I don't buy it. I don't see any evidence that the PNP's message is not being carried.
No. Trust me. And really I smell defeat for real now. Can't go no further with the fake poll them. I feel tell with them they're ahead of the JLP and every Jesus thing. Catching up on them, man. You see? But I never have no doubt that the JLP was ahead of the PNP at all times. They set up their polls to sort of get to us. Right? So them really on top. But I never feel that they were on top at all. I don't see them putting nothing out there to tell us that they will do different from what the JLP is doing. Nothing. And I don't think our people is so dumb that they don't see that too. The voters. Yes, you have some of them love the liquor with want to think so. But the sensible people in this country know that no go so. And we could never change the JLP just for want a change.
Right. You think if you're going to have a change, it needs to be on substance?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We can't get ourselves in that again, you know. Mr. Manley, they do it one time, and the people then vote for him, and then afterward, them to say that they did a wrong thing. You see? But they have nothing coming with. Nothing. And I still believe that Mr. Golden is the wrong person for the PNP. Wrong person.
Who do you think would be the right person?
I'm not a racialist, anything like that. But I still can't come to it that so much other people in the party, and none of them never took up the leadership of the PNP, them stick with Mr. Golden, and then Mr. Golden not carrying them nowhere now. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, Ricardo. But anyhow.
All right, Cleveland. Carl, good evening. Carl? No, not hearing calls. Carl, 630-9371-4, 618-8255. We're taking your calls here on Nationwide at 5. And it's amazing, the opposition leaders' comments all over social media, all the bloggers, political bloggers, everybody opining on it. And it seems, from all the things and the comments I've seen, most people seem to be agreeing that it did take on a defeatist role. The comrades were saying no, but it did come across that way. You don't go into an election campaign, indicating that it's going to be difficult to defeat. No, confidence is so important. Yeah, when you're trying to rally the troops. 630-9371-4, 618-8255. Alric, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
I see where Canada is hitting back at President Trump by imposing $107 billion worth of tariff. Is that so?
Yeah, Canada says it will fight back. I don't know the exact amount in tariffs that Trudeau has retaliated with, but he had always made it clear that that was going to be the response.
So, I was trying to read an article, and I saw where they are saying that I didn't know that the longest stretch of, what you call it now, border, Canada and the United States have many miles of border, right?
Mm-hmm.
Near to where the pipeline and those places are.
Mm-hmm.
And the article was saying that people on both sides live like family in a sense, because you walk over,
right,
and you're in the other country, you do your shopping over here so for this, and you go over there so for the other things where you don't have. And the Americans more or less now are the ones who start fretting, because they are the one that is gonna suffer some more from this big tariff thing that the president has hit them with.
I don't know why the US president seems to believe that tariffs are effective. All the literature I've seen, all I've heard from economists say that it really hurts your own country and your own people. So I don't know why he thinks they're effective.
That's what I called in a record, because I am wondering, he just does it. And a woman are fancy. Doesn't he have any advisors around him to tell him that what he's doing is stupidness?
I mean, Donald Trump seems to me to have surrounded himself with yes men, those who tell him what he wants to hear. Remember, in his first term, he had people who stood up to him and told him, especially when he was pushing the big lie that he had won the election. People like his attorney general who told him, no, you lost. People like John Bolton, who was his national security advisor, who would curtail some of his, more impulsive decisions on foreign policy. Pompeo, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mike Milley. So those people stood up to him and told him no. I think the lesson he's learned from that is to ensure that he has loyalists. And if you look at how he's been stacking the cabinet and all key agencies, they're all yes men and yes women. So I don't know if he has those advisors. And even in Congress,
recipe for disaster, Ricardo.
Absolutely. Even in Congress, those who know better, when they're asked direct questions, they sort of squirm and they say, "Oh, I haven't seen it," or "I don't know the details." They try to dodge.
What happened to this doctor who ran the COVID thing? He was bitterly against him. Dr.
Fauci.
Yeah, where is he?
I think he's out of the public service now. I know Trump had removed his security clearance, his security protection rather, his detail, because he had gotten security because of the threats that he had gotten from, those who thought that he did a poor job in managing COVID, and, he blamed him for the lockdowns and that kind of a thing. So, but as far as I know, he's in private life now.
Before I go, I was speaking to my son tonight. He lives in New Jersey, and he was telling me that the Republicans are going to get a hammering at the midterm elections, and they will all be sorry.
Historically,
and
yes.
you're hoping that America don't crash by then.
I mean, historically, the president's party loses in the midterms that follow. That's the trend. I mean, Biden lost, but his loss wasn't as, harsh as most other presidents, because usually they lose big. Obama, Bush, going back, they lose big. Clinton. So we'll see. There's also the feeling that Donald Trump has real staying power in the presidential election. He did very well all over the country, in blue states as well. So it may not materialize that way.
What he's doing now is ripping the country apart, and I think a lot of people are now sorry that they voted for him. But we'll see what happens in the midterm then.
But the last bit of data I saw, his approval ratings didn't seem to be suffering that much. So it seems the Americans are quite fine with the direction. But we'll see.
All right.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, man, you too. We take a time signal and come back with more.
Apply for your Sagicor Bank Preferred Prepaid MasterCard today. Load your remittances for everyday spending. Receive cash transfers from any local bank. The time by Sagicor Bank is
7:33. 630-9371-4 Carl, good evening.
Evening, Ricardo. Evening.
How are you?
I'm giving thanks, man.
Good.
Mr. Golding just continues to throw himself in our hand.
Okay.
We Campbell and Mr. Golding. So we thank him for all of that. Anyhow, we're not going to talk about Golding much because we don't have much time to waste. For PMP, them have time to waste with them, that's to them business. That a waste of time. We're talking about some achievements now on the Jamaica Labour Party.
Okay.
The NIR, that 5.6 billion, no million, bill. We can clap hand with that. And we would like to explain it a little bit to the Jamaica people. That can buy us about 12 weeks of goods, no sir? Between 12 and 13 weeks. If we should run into any problem.
Right.
So, we government and the Jamaica Labour Party is doing well. All right, we're going to touch something that Mr. Bunting doesn't like.
What's that?
After the third term, anywhere Mr. Bunting is going, he don't have to worry himself. He can't go without a security unless in briefcase anywhere. 35% decrease of crime since this year start. From last year, carrying a good. The police them is doing an excellent job, which the PMP them doesn't seem to like police, and it doesn't seem to like police anymore. Because how they did like fear the things are go, that's not the way it is going. So we can clap Dr. Harris Chang again and big up Dr. Harris Chang and the Commissioner of Police. Because the Commissioner of Police cannot be left out of this, both him and Harris Chang. And I may have to speak the truth. When Dr. Harris Chang did get the job as the Minister of National Security, I was one of the person who never liked it. Because I say, boy, to the age of Dr. Harris Chang, when night come and he head call him, he was fast asleep, gone in bed long time, but boy, he turned out to say, boy, Palmer, what he was talking was foolishness. He up till certain time and I can hear me even other days, so and then call him, he up. And we can clap with hand there. Achievement. Mrs. Williams tell me something last week, Monday morning in Tell George. And she never
as in the finance minister?
The finance minister.
Okay. Yeah.
Him say we used to pay 35 cents in every dollar come next week Tuesday. The first thing we'd have to look about next week Tuesday, 2 to 2:30 next week Tuesday, is paying back the debt of the People's National Party. Nobody can say a lie, me I tell you so. The debt run. When Eddie Siago lose, or say 400 and odd, we did whole. And by the time PJ left it, we are going to chill. And this government come again and carry down, that is achievements. But what Mrs. Williams never tried to explain a little more, and me have to out a road now, I try to explain it to the people that every time a budget used to read, first thing used to come out of it is what we owe. And we used to have to pay 35 cents out of every dollar before one of the apron where Mr. Dawes did want at the Savlama Hospital could have buy. That's why he couldn't get none. I couldn't buy. He have to go and pay debt. And now we are paying 14 cents now. So it release up a lot of money. Can be spending, but you hear Mr. Vaza say not too long, to buy JUTC, buy garbage truck. And before me even go any further, Sunday I was at the Black River Hospital, went to look for a relative there. And I have to big up Mr. Tufton. But I must say to you, we have 4 members of parliament in St. Elizabeth. And it's like them fast asleep. You know, see them enlight those things. Well, last I take a drive down to Black River.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
You need to take a pass at Black River Hospital. You need to take a look. And also, today, I was in a St. James here today. And the bypass road, the boy. I can't believe say a semi tax dollar because we don't have the People's National Party. I do so much. No wonder why the poll show say the St. James we there I remain with the government. Can't afford to not remain with the government. Because if you want to see things turn out, left Ochirayas, jump out in a Chilani, go to Iron Shore, and I go in a Montego Bay. You need to take a drive.
No, I've seen that. That I've seen. I've seen that, yes.
I must say I get good pay now, no, man.
Sure. No, I have seen that. I have seen the bypass. I've seen that.
So you can't fully tank a gas, man, and take a drive out Power Mountain. Man. You don't need to stay in a hot place, man. Take a drive out and
Carl, I've seen the Montego Bay. I've seen that.
So, when you see the people, they must say, they must stay with the government. Nobody can't blame them.
All right,
Nobody
Carl.
And we in a Clarendon here, so too. I stay with the government because if you are going to Mandeville, I free me get up and go back Melrose Hill over a year now. They mess up and a taxpayer money build that.
Remember, no galloping. Drive at the speed limit.
No, but when we say galloping, man, you remain in a speed limit.
Good.
Me not get them a type of ticket. Me not get them. You know.
That's because it's a nice piece of road, it's a very nice piece of road.
But it's pretty.
It's a nice piece of road.
Say,
yes.
You can't, when you see a road, when you come on the Clarendon, you say, you can't see it right away. Say somebody is in charge of the government of Jamaica.
All right, Carl. Later. Joseph, good evening.
Ricky.
Hey.
Forward.
What's up, going?
I'm always listening here now, and I first I talk to you.
Hey, welcome.
I have a question for you still. What is wrong with a media house show that them in support of a particular party?
What is wrong with it?
All
right, so I might
what is so wrong that people, are afraid to say, yes, I support or I don't support?
I might be the wrong person to ask because my position on it is that I would prefer if media houses, if they have a support, if they have an editorial line or if they support a particular political ideology, let me not even say party, but a political ideology, that they should make it public. That's my personal view. But
fair enough.
But to answer the question, I think the fear is that in a small society where we are incredibly tribal and partisan, if you have that kind of thing, it could potentially become ugly.
Backlash to be severe.
Right. I think that's the fear.
All right.
And it could also color how people see the output, the news. I don't know if people make a distinction enough of a distinction between the editorial line, like commentary and that kind of a thing, and the news. I think people just lump it all together.
Right now in Jamaica, Ricky, where everything that they put out, people label it, and I'm not going to call no color. Yeah?
Yes.
People label it. So right now, I don't see nothing wrong if you say, boy, one station support this or so. Look at USA.
Right.
MSNBC is straight Democrat. Fox is the opposite.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
But anyway,
and in the United Kingdom as well, it's like that.
Right.
Right.
But I have one homework for you, though, Ricky.
All right.
What radio station, which radio announcer interview Edward Seaga, and the interview stop in the middle of the interview, the man come off after the program, never finish the program, never finish the interview, and never work back at that station. Is a homework. I mean, I call no name.
Oh.
All I can tell you, it was a male that was interviewing Edward Seaga. I was driving down Mountain View Avenue when that happened, and the program just stopped. Check it out.
All right.
That person is no longer on radio, but he's still alive.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, it was a homework for you.
All right, I'll check it out.
All right.
And you should call more often, man.
Me? No, man. You know, I'm listening now, because guess what happened? Why? The thing we're going on sometimes, when me want to say, me can't say it on radio.
Oh, all right, fear. Fear. I mean, when you get me in trouble. All right.
That's right.
All right.
Hear this now.
Yes.
I live in Greater Portmore.
Okay.
I live very close to that sewer thing everybody's
yes.
talking about, right?
Yes, yes.
I am happy that it is getting some attention. So my MP, I call him, what you call it now? You know, the sunroof when I'm having a vehicle. That's the only time we see him head push up through the sunroof, brother.
Who's your MP?
No other time. No other time we see him.
Who's your MP?
Fitz Jackson.
Oh, okay.
I tell you, the only time you see him when election time and him go around and you see him head through the sunroof. Yeah? Or we see him on TV, or we hear him on radio. Right now, everything that can go wrong is going wrong in my section of Greater Portmore.
Why you say that? Why you say that?
Listen, man. Swale, and if you know what they call the swale,
no.
The thing will lead the water, the body of water, whenever it rains, that lead the water to the sea.
Okay.
And there's something they're not clean. You have to clean it yourself. I tell you, the only one where them clean is the major one where we run alongside the main road, like, you know, like the 4th Street and the 3rd Street and them things. But they say they have a side road where the swale them run. Nothing. No attention them get. But that me really call about, you know, sir. But as I say, when this sewer thing they built, it was supposed to take the sewage from the community, from the scheme itself. No truck not supposed to go down and go dump nothing. Me surprised when me hear a truckload of whatever going down there to dump. No. I live at Portmore a long time. And there was a thing in Waterford, right at the corner of Waterford, where you couldn't even drive past without you have to ban up your face. So when we ask the question, why is it that you're putting that sewer thing and you leave it open? They said to us at the National Arena, because the upper arena me get my house, they said to us that this is technology. They leave it open. It's like a processing plant. It's going to process the waste, and there will be no stench. Okay, it run good for a little. No maintenance, no go on. And when I tell about, and I ask you.
You experience it.
And you see when the breeze blows sometimes, brother.
Yeah.
And you dip on all your veranda. Yeah, you have your AC in your house, okay? You know it's a Portmore hot, see? You can't turn on the AC because you know the AC pull the stench from outside.
Oh.
You get me?
Yes, you lock up in there and pull it in the pan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you just have to just go and open the road. I'm happy now that they are doing something to it.
Yeah.
You get me?
And how long has it been a problem for you?
All right, sure. It on and off, It's not consistent.
Okay.
So it will smell now, and them come throw something or do something, and then smell it again.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, when the time is hot, like now, and windy,
oh
God, man.
Oh God, it get up.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I leave you with one thing now still. Damon Crawford was on my TV in Parliament, and he was talking about Portmore. Who built what at Portmore. And he proudly say, Greater Portmore High School, the PNP built it. I want to ask Damien one thing. Since I didn't proudly say PNP built Greater Portmore High School, why did they build Greater Portmore High School on top of the sewer? Where you just throw the stone and it drop into the sewer. And to the sewage plant. You understand me? You should have known from beginning that not go work if I them build it. You get me? Because later on in his speech, when him talking about the stench and how teachers can't stay there, you forget earlier in your speech you said, the PNP, we build that. You get me?
Yes.
So when we talk and we go around in circles and we come back and we put our foot in our mouth and say foot and mouth disease, I go around now. I will leave more right left to come here. I mean, I'm going to touch the self-destruct where the PNP has self-destruct. But the one thing me want to touch is that we're going to work to get rid of Fitzjackson, the sunroof MP. And that is the only thing him do.
All right, Joseph.
Talk to your boss.
All right. We take a time signal, come back with more.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. The time brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is
10 minutes to 8. Bobby, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, I'm good and I'm feeling the prosperity breeze,
Oh.
But
what does that feel like?
Now.
I'm trying to find out what that feels like.
Well, a better Jamaica and better governance.
Oh, I see.
Smooth road and so on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Well, I can attest to the road, yeah.
Right, yeah, man. Right. I want you to drive out the length and breadth of Jamaica, man, and look on the work that is going on our nation roads from this Andrew Holness administration. The people are getting carpet to drive on. That is the reason why the people of Jamaica decided that they are going to stay with this administration because they are getting road and water, right? And another thing, too, I would like to touch on quickly is that I just want to commend my councillor over here in the Ensom City Division and also my member of parliament. My councillor is Mr. Jacob Kukan and the member of parliament is Miss Granger. I saw they fix up a play field over in Eltham for the citizens to use it, and trust me, even this evening I passed there and I see games going on over there. So I must commend you, Mr. Jacob Kukan and Miss Grange for the excellent work that you are doing in the Ensom City Division. Keep it up. And finally, Ricardo, I would like to ask Mark Golden one thing. When him go to Connecticut the other day with high water and him high, and him bring down the media, him thinks that can really help him. Him thinks going over there, he say I try bring down the media, which to me it is not true, because your media house bring advertisement and them party conference and so on. But when he's lashing out against the media, in my wise eyes, is this present media I know he is lashing out against, because I remember one time his general secretary said that this party, this media is an incinerator for the Jamaica Labour Party. right? And him name one journalist that is gone in the hands of the Jamaica Labour Party. But whatsoever Mark Golding is trying, no matter what, come what, the next general election, he will spend the third term in opposition because he will not see Jamaica out as far as I see it. Right? So I just want to tell Prime Minister Andrew Holness, continue doing the good work. And I'm asking all the MPs, because Ricardo and I make a bet. I tell Ricardo, say the 49 seats, we are going to retain them.
You make sure me get my money.
And also the 14 seats, the two of them.
Yeah. So at 51 Labour Party going.
Well, look, and that there, Ricardo, please don't turn off your cell phone.
No, it will be on. It will be on.
Yeah, you make sure you
Matter
work
of fact,
with Cliff that night, you know.
No, I will be on duty. And make sure you bring some for books too, because books not believe it either. So you have to bring.
For books?
Yeah, books don't believe it either. So you have to bring some for books too.
No problem, man.
All right.
No problem. Right?
Since you have to prosperity,
we will
breeze,
get it.
him have money books. Tax him. All right, Bobby.
Okay then, cool here.
Yeah, man. Anthony, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Ricardo.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
This one we get to Ricardo. I know you know about the app on the phone yet, you know.
Yes, man. I told the tech people it's still not working.
No, I'm not thinking my wife want to work.
No, I not understand. It's a work on my one, and
my
then
wife want to work. It start, we have about a minute and then it just chip out and gone. You have to start it over again.
all right. Well, let me. I can put in a little secret. Something else is coming. Something else is coming.
Praise the Lord.
That should help you. All right. That's all, as much as I can say. Something else is coming.
All right. Yeah, I know. Mark Golding, but I tell Mark Golding to save in Yaiwata until the election.
Why not say Yaiwata? He never did a ball. He never did a ball. One or two turtle. He never did a ball.
But then again, Portmore, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that Portmore have more people than some country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially countries in the Eastern Caribbean.
Yeah. So Portmore couldn't be a country by itself then.
It could. Yes.
It could. You know? So I don't see why the other set of people them do not want Portmore to be a parish. You know? And I think it is time for them to be a parish, so that they're parish status. Because if you can vote for your mayor separately from any other mayor in a Jamaica, every other mayor, how them do it with the other mayor then?
The other mayors are elected based on which party controls the majority of the seats in the municipality. You directly vote for the mayor. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, that come like a separation of power.
Yeah, in a way, because you can have conceivably you could have a GLP mayor and the council is dominated by PNP councillors. So yeah, in a way.
Yeah, that would be good too, you know. Another thing too, Rose Heights in St. James here.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that they can't get water on a regular basis up there in Rosemount? But I like Hero Clark to come and tell you the reason why. Why they can't get water up there.
Okay.
And if water come, we in a night. If water come there. I mean, I know today they're going, you know, a long time.
I wonder if it's a pressure problem in terms of like
I
road.
have no idea.
When you say heights, that's all like it high? Is that on a hill?
No, sir. Rosemount not upon no hill.
Okay. Oh, it's Rosemount, not Rose Heights. Okay.
Rose Heights. Rose Heights.
Okay.
You have Rosemount and Rose Heights.
Okay.
So really Rose Heights. Yeah, he right Clark control.
Okay.
If people don't need water up the man, they need it. You know? And they need to do something much better than that with the mother man. And you can't send water and they send it much a crack in a night when dog afraid. No, sir. Can't work.
So they must send the water when dog afraid.
Yeah, and dog afraid. So here I need to see what you can do and come out and talk to the people them concerning the water up the man. You know?
Okay.
And another thing I heard somebody telling about the highway that they are building in Montego Bay here.
Yes.
Hey, me watch that every night on TV. Me go me have to watch it on YouTube, you know.
Oh yeah, because they have the drones that show you the progress. Yes,
man,
yes.
let me tell you
I used to, you know, it's funny that you said that, you know, because I used to watch them when they were building the highway out to my side, out east. Me used to watch them every day too. So yes, I know what that's like.
Every day me come home from work, me just go in my room, lock up in and go watch it. Come in love, see what they go on.
Yes.
And let me tell you something, the Chinese man, them are work fast.
Mm-hmm.
Them are work fast. You see the bridge? The bridge basically done, you know.
That's good.
That long bridge where them are building,
yes.
It's basically done. I tell you, the only best to go start asphalt, you know.
All right. Have her on leave, you know.
All right. You see, all right.
Hello? Oh, all right. I'm changing mine. All right. So that's all the time we have. Have a holy Ash Wednesday if you observe Ash Wednesday tomorrow. Dana Davey, thank you so much. Hardworking producer. Andrew Glenn Anderson is the man on the controls tonight, the pilot. And our editor, Cara Powell, is back. Hi, Cara. My colleagues in the newsroom, thank you all so much. The very best in the business. Our callers, contributors, our YouTubers, you are valued listeners. We appreciate you so much. On behalf of Cliff Hughes, I'm Ricardo Brooks. Good evening.
Are you ready to make your business export ready? Register for the MSME Business Roadshow on March 6, 2025 at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz. Tune in to